There is just so much coming up for me today that I just kind of want to have this conversational video with you guys, just sharing what I'm moving through. And this video is for me too. Like, I am my own best teacher, or you could say my higher self is my best teacher. And I'm sure it's pretty similar for you guys too. And if something I ever say resonates with you, it's like your higher self pulled you to this video to hear it. And that's also your higher self teaching you, because actually it is all one when you start going up high enough, is one way of saying that. What I'm realizing is when we sync up with our divine mission and we start giving our gifts, like really showing up, and we release all expectation, and even if we're not releasing expectation, but as long as we're just showing up and giving our gifts, life moves a lot faster. Meaning we evolve a lot faster. And what starts happening, the big reason we really start moving faster and evolving faster is because we're moving through our divine lessons. And I heard this on someone's Instagram. I wish I could give them a shout out. I forgot the guy's name. Maybe if I remember, I'll post it in the description box. But he said something that I didn't like to hear at the time, but I knew it was true in my heart. And he said, if we're not connected to our divine mission, then we're not able to learn our divine lessons. And the reason I didn't like to hear it at the time is because when I heard it, I wasn't aligned with my divine mission. And I was feeling like stalled out. I was just in a lot of suffering and a lot of resistance. And this is because my higher self was telling me, hey, you're not really living out the mission that you set out to live out for this lifetime. And so when I heard that, I had resistance to hearing it. But now that I am fully immersed in living my divine mission again, and just showing up for the divine, I'm realizing like this is a big reason we move really fast when we are showing up for the divine is because we're learning our divine lessons. And some of the divine lessons, this is really hard to put words to, but it's kind of all vibrational. It is the simplest way to think about this. So like for me today, let me just give you an example of what I've been going through. I don't know, I posted my however many videos for however many days straight, 10 days straight or something. And I was just feeling like in this super divine realm of consciousness, this very refined and high level of frequency and energy. And it was really interesting how there was even a lot of me resisting being in such a high vibration, because so much of my body is used to residing in a lower vibration. And I could feel how parts of me, my psyche, my humanity, my body, my nervous system even, were feeling a bit uncomfortable with such a high vibration, like with so much energy coursing through my being. Like I had so much, and when we're in a higher vibration, that just means we have a lot more energy for life. And I felt like I could sit down and just do another channeled writing for someone today. They asked a really good question, and I started to sit down to do it. But there was this part of me that like couldn't even believe how like that I was able to sit down and to just keep giving, because once we really align with our divine mission and we're really in flow with it, it's like we have this never ending source of energy just to keep giving. And we're giving just because giving feels so good. We're not actually trying to get anything back in return. And I've been in that place for a while too, where I just feel like if I give, then I should get something out of it. And that's coming from a place of lack, right? But once we're really synced up with our divine mission and our vibrations going really high, we tend to have all this energy and we can just keep giving and giving and giving. But sometimes we can almost resist being in that state because it's so foreign and we're not used to it. And we can kind of, our body, our psyche, however you want to say it, the little me can kind of get in our way and start self-sabotaging because it's uncomfortable with all this energy. And it's like, it's used to the other life of more lethargy, of more non-doing, And I noticed that sabotaging starting to happen to me today. And that's what I want to talk about. And this is a divine lesson. So I was sitting down to do this channeled writing after the video that I did today that I really enjoyed making. And I just all of a sudden was like not able to stay focused on the writing. And then I was looking at my phone, and then I was looking at feedback I got from the video. Then I was looking at, did anyone email me yet? Then I was looking at my Instagram. Did anyone like this? And then, oh, someone messaged me. And I was getting caught up in the results, right? I was getting caught up in expectations. And it was really weird to do that because I was feeling so empowered and in such a high vibrational state that I'm realizing now is like an unconscious pattern coming up, trying to kind of sink me back into a lower vibration where I'm more comfortable, where I'm more results oriented. Like if you're ever results oriented, you're gonna be kind of feeling like there's an anchor, tied to your energetic vibration. It's gonna keep you kind of feeling heavy, right? If we're always looking for results and more external validation, that's a way to get yourself in a really low vibration pretty quick. And I noticed that's what my subconscious was doing to me because I was in such a high vibrational state, and it was not used to it. It's not accustomed to it. And my system hasn't adapted to it yet fully. I could tell it was doing things just kind of on autopilot to kind of pull me back down. And that's understandable. I mean, it makes sense. That's kind of what the body's wired for. It's just it wants to keep staying on the same neural pathways, and when we start giving our divine gifts, when we start aligning with our divine mission, we start creating like new neural pathways, rooted more in joy and love and abundance. And it's like that's what neuroplasticity is all about. That's what epigenetics is all about. There's so many people who talk about this phenomena. And this transformation that happens within us when our vibration starts rising, and you're going to have different thoughts, a different quality of thoughts. And I was having that right after that video. I was having like these celestial thoughts. And as I started channeling this response to this question, it was there was an effortlessness to it. And I guess there was just this part of me that was in resistance to this new way of being, to this new way of relating to life with having so much energy to give, And so the divine lesson for me today was pay attention to the parts of me that come up and try to self-sabotage when I'm in alignment and when my vibration starts rising rapidly and when life starts moving really fast. And so this isn't something I would have been able to encounter and move through today if I hadn't been in alignment so deeply for as long as I have been, right? And I wouldn't be getting to see all of these parts of me that come up and try to sabotage, and all these unconscious programs coming up. And so that's the value of being on mission, of being on purpose, is you actually get to see your shadow more fully. You actually get to see the parts of you that are in resistance to actually, evolving to a higher vibration and all of these good things. And it's just not something that, we're still growing if we're not on our divine mission, right? We're always growing. We're always evolving. But I can say from my own experience, it's just a different type of evolution. And I don't say that with arrogance or with any type of trying to make you feel bad or guilty if you've fallen off mission. I've been there. I get it. It's so hard to be on mission at times. And sometimes it is divine will that we're taken off course for a little bit. And even the contrast of not being on mission is super valuable because you learn a lot through that contrast as well. And typically when we're not on mission, we learn through pain and suffering a bit more. When we're on mission, there can still be pain and suffering. Like when we're living our divine mission and giving our gifts, there's still going to be obstacles that we're going to have to go through. And that's what I would call our divine lessons, right? But they're not going to come with like the same flavor. When we're off mission, it comes with, to me, more of just like this like this. You just feel dissonance, like an energetic dissonance, an energetic sickness almost, where you know you're not living your truth. Like I said, that when that guy said, hey, if you're not living your divine mission, you're not going to be able to move through your divine lessons. Like I said, that gave me a lot of resistance when I heard that, because I knew it was true. And so that's what being off mission, it just kind of reminds us of like, oh, I'm here to do something really important. I'm here to believe in myself. A lot of times we get off mission, and I know this is true for myself, because we don't believe in ourselves. We don't believe that life will support us if we, align with what we truly love to do and really go all in on ourselves. We're afraid to go all in on ourselves and fail. And guess what? Sometimes that's what will happen, but that's where we learn the most. When we really try our hardest and still quote unquote fail, we realize actually there's no such thing as failure, and we just uncover everything we need to know to take the next step, to give at a higher level. And I noticed that today. After I made that video, I liked it so much. And then, of course, I started checking results. That subconscious program came up because it was uncomfortable with the higher vibration and this new way of living. And then because I was checking the results, no matter how good they might be or how bad, whatever that part of our self judges the results as, it's always going to find a way to say they're not enough, right? And then that's going to create some doubt. And then that's a cycle. And then you're going to keep checking the results perhaps, or you're going to keep looking for more validation, and then you might not be finding it. And it's just going to slowly start sinking your vibration. And the key is to catch it. And you don't want to make yourself wrong or bad. You just want to notice what happened. And I noticed that today. And one of the other things I noticed today is like how this is meant to happen. This is part of what happens when we're giving our gifts. We get to go through these energetic experiences where we're on track and everything's a flow, and then all of a sudden a shadow aspect has kind of pulled us off and is trying to sink us. Like, this is part of the process, and we want to meet those parts with love. We want to ask those parts, hey, what's going on? What do you really need? And you'll notice what those parts need is they just want to feel safe. And these parts actually feel safer in the known. They feel safer in the kind of the old life where things were moving a little slower or a lot slower, where there was kind of just more of this mundane experience of life, when we're in a lower frequency. And so when things start elevating, when our inner state starts elevating, these parts of us can actually start getting scared because they're starting to confront the unknown. And so rather than going to the phone, which I'm glad I caught myself today and was able to kind of let that pattern go. And now I've come out into nature, and I'm connecting with journaling. I'm connecting with you guys through this video. So like I said, rather than going to the phone and doing the old patterns that kind of sink our vibrational state, when you notice that it's starting to happen, just to tenderly kind of catch it happening, and then to really, meet that part with love and just kind of have a conversation with it. And like, I know that part wanted to be seen today by you guys. Like, this part that's scared of a higher vibration, of giving more, of being in a channeled state more frequently. He just wanted to be seen and kind of have this kind of video, right? Where it's just conversational and chill. And I've had a day where I've kind of, gotten off track a little. And so he wanted to journal, then he wanted to kind of do this video. And so this is my way of bringing that part back into harmony with, this path of merging more with the divine. And having this part feel more comfortable being in a higher vibrational state, being in a state of, more power. You start to feel a lot of this power, and it's not an egoic power. It's not something you want to, it's just like this, it's like a quiet, but very palpable inner sense of, I'm a very powerful being, and we are all very powerful beings. We are all extensions of source energy, right? And so the more you start to feel source flowing through you, the more the parts of you that are in a lower frequency state are going to be revealed to you. And this is why we move really fast when we're giving our gifts and in alignment with divine will and our divine mission. It's because our vibration goes really high. I think I've said that enough times. But yeah, I wanted to share that. And the other thing I want to share is after I did that video today, promoting Cesare's retreat, which really came from the heart, and I really feel like you guys would benefit from. If you haven't seen it, maybe you should check that out if you're into online meditation retreats. I felt like this calling, like, God, I want to do my own retreats, you know? And maybe not full 2-day retreats, meeting twice a day yet, but maybe I just want to do something like where I offer like a Zoom event. Maybe it's like a 2-hour, just like a 1-day, 2-hour block of a meditation retreat, just like a mini retreat, right? Where we meet, we sit in silence, we soak in grace, and then, you know, you guys can come forward and share and you know, pull stuff out of me and just to kind of create that container. I was feeling like, you know, when we get in our power, we start to recognize, oh wow, I'm ready to do things that I didn't think I was ready to do not that long ago. And that's the other part of when we're giving our gifts and aligning with our divine mission, we're evolving faster and we can kind of surprise ourselves. Like I was surprised today after I made that promotional video to feel like, oh man, I want to do this. Like why don't I offer my retreat, like my own retreat? That sounds fun. I could do that, you know, like, and I didn't have that belief in myself 10 days ago. I swear. I feel like I'm a completely different person than I was before I started going live on YouTube again. I don't know when that was, 10 or 11 days ago. And now I just know, like, not only could I do a retreat, I would be awesome at it. And I don't mean that with arrogance. I know that the divine would be awesome at it through me, because I know I would be this very willing vessel and facilitator for the divine to do a retreat through me. And it's just like, this is what happens when we start showing up for the divine, is we start believing in ourselves. And there's so much more energy in this state where we believe in ourselves. And I think the body, it gets used to inertia. It gets used to not moving that fast, right? Because in the lower vibrations, you're not moving as fast when you just talk in terms of energy. But in the higher frequencies, things are moving a lot faster, and you're going down the stream, the river, a lot faster. And the faster you start going, the easier it can be to kind of crash for a minute, like, or kind of lose your bearings, because you're going a lot faster. And so, that's part of it, but that's kind of the fun of it too. It's fun to move fast, as long as you're kind to yourself when you inevitably capsize, you know, or for a day, or you start getting really immersed in needing the results. And I'll even watch it in myself after I post this video. Like, that urge will come up where I'll post this and I'll be like, did I gain subscribers? Did I lose subscribers? Like, a part of me will be wondering these things a little bit. But it's interesting. The more that we meet those parts with love, the more they just dissolve. And the more, like, some days I don't even think about how many people are going to like it or what my subscribers are. It's irrelevant, because the best part about doing this is just being connected to your divine nature. It's just being on mission. It's like, and someone brought it up the other day, like that Bhagavad Gita quote, you know, the work is the reward. Being on mission is the reward. The results are the results. They're God's business, ultimately. They're for God. Whatever the results are, it's all for God. You know, God gives you the gift of the work, of allowing you to be this like divine conduit that can bring through channeled messages or whatever the thing is for you. And when I'm really synced up and in flow, I don't know. I don't mean I don't care, because of course I care. I love your guys' feedback. I care. It's just like, I don't mind, you know. There's just this thing in me that's like, I'm empty of attachment and expectation. You know, as far as the results go from my work, and that's the sweet spot, and that's where that's where our vibration skyrockets, when we're just giving our gifts, without expectations, and we're just loving the process. When you just fall in love with the process of giving your gifts, that's when your vibrational state skyrockets. And everything's energy, right? And even if you didn't get any good results or anything your super ego would deem that are good or validating, just being in a high vibrational state, just being creative is abundance. That is an incredible reward. That is an incredible payoff for aligning with your divine mission. Like, when you're in that state, you don't need anything. Trust me. Like, a lot of the time these last 10 days, I've been in such a state of joy and peace and alignment that I felt like I've needed very little. And then some of the times, like I said, the shadow comes up and it starts getting uncomfortable with how fast things are moving. Or maybe you hit a new peak, maybe you hit a new vibrational peak. And when we hit new vibrational peaks, that's when more shadows revealed. That's when deeper elements of our unconscious and subconscious programming are revealed. And I think that's what happened today. I was like hitting a new threshold. It's like if you're climbing a mountain, and you hit a new peak, you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm really high up. It's going to take you a minute to kind of orient yourself to how high you are on the mountain. And then you kind of get settled there. You get a bit grounded there. And then you keep going up. And sometimes you go up and it's really high and you kind of fall back down, and then to a familiar place. You're like, okay, been here before. You regroup and then you go back up to that place again. But the next time you go back up to that place where you just fell from on the mountain, you know what to expect, right? And you're like, oh, I've been here. And the last time I was here, this happened and I slipped on this rock, right? So you have this awareness that, you have the awareness of, like I said, what might happen. You've been on that trail before. And so you're able to handle the obstacles at that level more easily. It's just like playing a video game in many ways, right? Your 50th time playing the same level over and over again. You pretty much got it. So yeah, that's just process and just fall in love with the game. We're just here for the game. We're just here for the process. The results are, those are already baked in a way. Like, you just get to learn your divine lessons and your divine lessons will be there for you to learn. And so don't get freaked out when the obstacles come, when you're in alignment. This is meant to happen. This felt good. 22:33, synchronicity, right when I was thinking about ending the video. Yeah, I'm glad I shared. This is a fun little conversational video. I think there's a lot of good stuff in here. I felt like a lot of good stuff came through for me anyways. If you guys want to support this work and give me some money, that would be cool. I love money. Money is amazing. I really do. Can we just change our balance? So many of us have this stuff with money. I really love money. I love what it can do. I love that I can go support. Like, when you guys donate to me, I love that I can take that money and go support like businesses that I really love, right? And how it can just flow through me into the other. And money is just another way of giving. And I look forward to being super abundant with money one day soon. And I feel the more I do this, that will probably inevitably happen. It doesn't have to. My happiness doesn't depend on it. But I just think, I think that would be a joy, just to have a bunch of money, just because I would just love to give it to everyone and like support causes that I love. I used to in my 20s, I wanted a bunch of money so that I could just be rich. And then, I wanted people to see me a certain way or something. But I think the more we awaken, the more we love the idea of money, just because it just sounds like so much fun just to give it. I just love that idea of just being filthy rich and just giving, things that I support and people I love, just flooding people with abundance with money sounds so much fun. I see a lot of rich people who are really attuned, with giving. They love that. They love giving money, and you can tell like money's a flow for them. They don't have a bunch just so they can hoard it, and they have it so they can feel safe, and and they're never gonna have enough. You can tell some people have a bunch of money from lack, right? From a place of lack. That used to be me. I had a lot of money in my 20s, but I was so afraid of like running out. I had to have a certain amount in my bank or I felt unsafe, and I just love really, really rich people who are really free with money and they don't even care if they go broke because they're so in tune with it. Like, they're just like, I'll just make millions more. It's no problem. So if you want to support my journey to becoming a millionaire, wouldn't that be cool? If like one day I'm just a millionaire or something, just kind of funny to like watch my videos, how I was like living out of my car, and I just think that'd be hilarious. But yeah, if you want to support this work, if this resonates, if this is helping you, if you enjoy me showing up every day, it always feels so good to receive from you guys, like your donations. I just love seeing the email notification come up. It's always a great feeling, and I just appreciate it so much. There is a link in my description box. It's called Support My Work, and it has a donation link. Otherwise, you can join the Patreon. I just did a channeled writing yesterday, and I may do another channeled writing soon. Been trying to do a little bit more on that community page. So yeah, there's a good amount of exclusive content over there. And lastly, you are always welcome to book a session with me. I have pretty good availability right now. And there's a book a session link in the description box, as well as the Patreon link too. Other than that, I don't got anything else. I'm sending you all so much love. I feel so good to be connected to you all. I just love, I don't know, I just love this process of sharing and then hearing what you guys are going through. It's just so precious to me, and I am so grateful and honored to be here. I will see you all in the next video. Namaste.